Okay, here are some of the changes that I want you to pick up on is the width of the cheeks, and that's this area here. From the center out, we went 5/16, and that was to this upper part, which was from above the eyes, okay? That should be 5/16 out. And then it sort of flares out a little bit. But still in all, right behind the eye, it should be at least 5/16. Then you're measuring the cheeks, and you're wondering, how far out do I come from the center out? And what I did is I made changes, and it will be a 1/2 inch from here out. I have 3/16 here and 3/16 here, which I changed, okay? So that'll make it a total of 5/16 here, and then plus the 3/16, that makes it a 1/2 inch. So you need, when you measure looking down or straight in from the center out to here, at least a 1/2 inch from here to here and a 1/2 inch from here over to this one. And that's this fatty part. Most of your cheeks are going to be high in this point, and then they taper as they come up. And that was what I was trying to explain on the other videos. Now, the other thing too that I want to make a change to is this line of action for the cheek came up, and I rolled it up towards the split in the beak, but in essence it's to the bottom of the beak. And so that little change won't really affect this that much. All you're just going to do is bring your pencil point down, and this was about, what was it? It was 1/8 of an inch down. So from here down 1/8 of an inch, this came up and came up to that point. Then we're going to add another line in here. Right at the split in the beak, we are going to come back. We're about 1/8 of an inch wide here, and as you get back to about here, you're getting wider, and it's about 3/16. So it's a little wider as you come back. So I'm going to ask you to put a line in like that. So it's wider back here, and 1/8 of an inch up here, and 3/16 back here. And I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. I moved this down, and I apologize for misleading you. Then I'm going to come from here, and I came right up to there. Then this comes from the split in the beak, 1/8 of an inch up from that. And then this comes back to the edge of the cheek, okay, like that. Now, another thing too, over here, and I don't know if I stressed it enough, or maybe I didn't cover it as well, from the center of the beak out, it's 1/8 of an inch, and that's on both sides. So the width of this beak is 1/8 of an inch out from the center out, and from the center out. So that's what you should have. If your beak is getting wider than that, then you have to come in, and along these lines that we have, which is outlining the beak, you have to reduce it. It's not the front here as much as the back, to pull that in and then blend everything away like we did before, okay? And that will bring this in. It's really this corner right in here, and then make sure everything is smoothed out. So you may have to take a little bit more. And in some cases, this was a little fatter maybe on this side, so you got to bring that in. And when you do that, you also have to come in, and when this channel came up to the cheek, to the beak, you need to taper that down a little bit. There is a lip there, but it's ever so slightly there. Same way down to below. And then we had this on the underneath side, which came up and back. Excuse me 1 minute. I have an optivisor that I use, and here I got a spider running around on top of it. I think I got him. I don't know where he went, but anyway, yeah, that helps me see better, the optivisor. And so we marked this out. We're reducing the beak a little bit more. If we didn't do it already, it needs to maintain this 1/8 of an inch width on one side from here to here, going straight across, same way here to here. Okay, and then pull your material in. Now, once you've done that, I'm gonna give you other measurements from this mantle. We want to sort of establish the mantle here, coming around, and then we're going to do some work on the tail. And the tail has got a measurement coming in, and I'll show you how we'll mark this out. But let's get the mantle going here. So from the end of your tail up, I'm going to have you make a measurement of, oops, there's that bug again. Excuse me, it wasn't a spider, it was something else floating around, flying around, I should say. So from the tail up, I want you to come 2 5/8 and put a dot right there. Okay. So you have a dot on the center of the body. Then down at the cheek here, I'm going to give you a measurement on this side. And this is with the bird facing to your left. I'm going to measure from the beak down to this point right here. I'm going to give you a dimension here of approximately 1 1/8 inches. So from, as the crow flies, from this tip to there, if you lay the ruler straight across, you should have 1 1/8 inches, and you put a dot right there, okay? And we'll go to the other side just to make sure that we have that established too. And this is going to be a little bit longer. It's going to be 1 3/16 inches to here where it touches the cheek. Okay. Now, that is going to be our boundary for our mantle. And this is the mantle right here. It's this grouping right in here. And the mantle is this. It's here, coming all the way up and around to the other side. So we're going to establish that a little bit. And then we're going to go to the tail. And what I need you to do on the tail is this. I want you to measure from the tail up 1 inch and put a dot. And then what I'm going to ask you to do is from the edge of your tail here in 1/8 of an inch, put a dot. And the same way here, from this edge in 1/8 of an inch, put a dot. Then I'm going to ask you to make an arc coming around, and then go on to a straightaway to that 1/8 inch. And do the same thing here. You're going on a straightaway, more or less following your outside edge here, and then it arcs inward. Okay, and at that point, I'm going to ask you to run a line from here to where this line of action runs into the body. So I'm going to ask you to draw that in like that. And I'm going to ask you to draw this in like this. So this is what you should have. And these will give you some boundaries here. Okay. The other thing I'm going to try to do is on the top of the tail, that was on the bottom, all that. Okay, should have established that early. Up here, about 1 1/8 of an inch up, I want you to put a dot. And where most of this will happen, a lot of yous, and let me see if I can find a blank here that I made before. A lot of yous have it established already. That is this point right here. I don't know if everybody's clear. Let's see if this thing measures exactly what I said. Here's 1 inch. Well, maybe it's not quite right. Oh, I see. Maybe I didn't go all the way out to the end here. Let's say 1 1/8. Yeah, it's pretty close. But anyway, you measure in from the end 1 1/8, put a dot. Then I'm going to ask you to come around and put a slight arc like this and a slight arc like that. Don't go anywhere else with it because we're going to build. We're going to come in, and what I'm trying to establish from this point is, I don't know if I gave you this too. Yes, I did. Starting to forget myself. We had 2 5/8 up to here. So what I'm going to do on this, and I'm going to heavy what I have here, I'm going to come out straight a little bit and then start bending. Okay. And then I'm going to come out straight here, and then I'm going to start bending. Okay. And you're wondering where to. Well, on here, I'm going to give you a measurement from that dot on the cheek. I'm going to come down 1/4 of an inch. So from this dot, maybe I shouldn't do that. And I'll tell you why. I haven't established this mantle yet. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm sorry, I'm sort of backing up, and hope I don't confuse you here. From this mantle, it needs this. See this right in here? It comes up to the cheek. This is part of the mantle, which turns in up to here. That point, I'm trying to establish like this. From that dot we had here, I'm going to come down and come around, and you should have about 1/8 of an inch off of your cheek, and come around, and then this should come down and marry up with this. So you got a little bit of a straightaway, then it starts arcing down, and from here you're coming down here, and you should be about 1/8 of an inch apart at this point. Turn it, and then you, of course, you're going to get wider because you're meeting up with this one. Okay, and then on this side, we're doing the same thing. We're about 1/8 of an inch off of the cheek, and we start here. Remember, we were a little further back on this side. So I'm coming off of that. Hope I'm in the picture here because I moved things and didn't realize I'm in the camera. And I'm swinging this up. Okay, and I'm getting wider between the cheeks. We got this one coming up, flat, then turning, and then I'm going to ask you to come down and join up like that. And what I'm basically trying to do is mimic this right in here. This is the cheek area. The mantle area, don't mind me today. And this is the mantle right here. So if you're looking from the top down, it's this coming down and this coming down. It's where it's like all white in here. That's the mantle area right at the moment. Okay. Now, from that point, we're going to establish a couple of things. We want to get this wing established in here as well. So this point up here is this right here, or this right here. And in most cases, I had a stepped area on the blank. And some are more prominent than others, but to make sure I have it exactly the way it should be, from the outer edge in, we said it was, I think, an inch and an eighth, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So that's where that point starts. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. We have this arc coming around here. Okay. Like so. I want you to be about 1/8 of an inch off on the outer edge here. So from here up to that line, I want you about 1/8 of an inch in. I want you to come down. So if you had 1/8 from here to here, you're still arcing slightly. And then I'm going to try to give you another point to shoot from. If I measured from the belly in profile now, I'm going to measure, I'm going to put a mark right here so I could see it. And I'm going to get my ruler. And if I lay my ruler straight in at this point, straight in this way, and not rolling or anything like that, it's 3/8. So as you're looking down from this point to this point, it's 3/8. So you come in 3/8, you put a point there. I hope that's not confusing. Probably is, but I'll try to give it one other way too. This point, if we were to lay this ruler down, and this is a flexible ruler, so it's about 3 inches from the tail up to here, is we put a dot, and then we measure in profile. So with this bird in profile, from that point, you measure straight in. So if I do this right, let me see if I'm doing it right. This is straight up, and I measured this way. It's 3/8 up from that dot. Okay, and you put a dot. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm coming off of this mantle at that same point, and where it turns, I'm just arcing down to that 3/8. And from the 1/8 inch over here, I want to draw this line to meet up with that. So that is your wing right there. And if I'm confusing you a little bit, you could probably take it off of here. Here's the 1/8 of an inch here. The 3/8 is probably somewhere between here and here, where you got 3/8 in here. And that's another point. So you're taking a point to point to point, and you're getting a nice arc. That's what we're trying to do. I'm trying to mimic this. I don't know if I'm doing that exactly, but we will correct it if need be, okay, as we go. But that's what I'm trying to establish. So we're establishing the point from here to here, which is that, and we're also got the mantle here, and now we got to do the other side. And this thing works like this. 1/8 of an inch up, you're coming through and you're coming down, and we set 3/8 back. Let me get that up here. I'm going to hold this in profile. And how you know it's in profile, this whole thing is flat, straight up. That's profile, okay? And I'll find that point. 3/8 up is right here. So I come off of this mantle and swing this way and bring it around. Now, one way to check yourself is when you're looking down the barrel in the back here, like you're looking this way, these two should look even as you're looking in, okay? That this and this look the same. Let me see if I did it, and I'm going to look at it. So I'm going to put my fingernail on each point, and as you're looking down on that, that should be pretty close, okay? That's going to set our wings dimensions and our mantle. We got the cheek line in here, and this is like another crease, which is in the bird, and it enhances the look. I don't know if I could show you on a. This is pretty. Here it is here. I'm going to put a pencil line in on this, and this is one that I finished as far as detailing. Here it is right here, and I don't know if you can see it well. Here's the bottom of the cheek right here, and I came all the way around and back and over. There's like a crease in here that we're going to create. So for this video, we're going to get all the markings in. On the next video, we are going to undercut all of this, and I'll show you how to do that. But I wanted to get the corrections made for the beak and for the cheek area here, so that we can create that second little crease in there, which enhances the look, and it's there. And we are establishing the thinness of the tail. Oh, the other thing too is, let me go back one more. We had this arcing at the end here, and we did the bottom one over here. So this was 1/8 of an inch down on the tail, and I came over to here. I'm going to ask you to run a line back and have at least 1/8 of an inch from what would be the top to the bottom, running straight back. And you do the same thing on the other side. This came over here, this bottom, and from here you go straight back, and that's good for later. But we're going to hog this out, take material out here, and I'll show you how to construct the tail and thin it out more, and then on the next video we'll do all that. But this is all the markings it takes to get the mantle out and the wings as far as boundaries established. So I hope you got something out on this one too. I am going to try to we'll start developing a lot in the face and do some burning and lifting of the feathers and getting the tail in as we go. But we need to establish these markings first. So if you bear with me, I'd appreciate it. And if you got something out of it, I'd appreciate it if you give me a thumbs up. And if you could subscribe to my channel, or you have friends that are interested, please pass my information on. And if you ever need anything, definitely contact me through my email address or in the comments section of the video, and I will get back to you. And if you're interested kids or anything that I may need, or equipment, I even have a small catalog, so if that's helpful to you as well, I'd appreciate it. Any questions, definitely contact me again. I'll try to clarify things as we go, and I'll see you on the next video.